ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦਿਸ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਆਫ ਦਾ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸ਼ੋ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਐਂਟੋਨੀਨਾ ਨਾਲ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਸਰਟੀਫਾਈਡ ਨਿਊਟ੍ਰੀਸ਼ਨਲ ਐਕਸਪਰਟ ਨੇ। ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਵਿਸ਼ਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਇੱਕ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਵਿਸ਼ਾ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਚਿੰਤਤ ਹਾਂ। ਆਮ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਿਹਤ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਦੋ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਖਰਾਬ ਨੇ, ਇੱਕ ਹੈ ਲੂਣ ਅਤੇ ਦੂਸਰਾ ਹੈ ਚੀਨੀ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਫੋਕਸ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਲੂਣ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਸਾਲਟ ਦੀ ਕੰਜ਼ੰਪਸ਼ਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਕੁ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਖਪਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ, ਕੀ ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਲਾਭਦਾਇਕ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਹਾਨੀਕਾਰਕ ਹੈ, ਕਿਹੜੀ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਸਾਲਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਚੰਗਾ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਓ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਐਂਟੋਨੀਨਾ ਤੋਂ। Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you. So when you talk about salt as such, could you just describe, we are hearing a lot about salt these days, that don't consume too much of salt, it's going to be not beneficial to your health, and all sorts of other things are also coming. What kind of salt is good for our health?
Great question, because there's definitely a lot of confusion about salt. And salt is a very essential mineral in the body. So why in 1970s there was a lot of, there were some public announcements were made where salt has just been pretty vilified and been told that salt is really, really bad.
Right.
And ever since there's got a staggering amount of misinformation that follow that. So there is a good salt and then there's a bad salt. There's a salt that can be very, very heavily processed, bleached, and denatured, and pretty much just sodium is what is left. And then there is salt like Himalayan salt, or salt found in the sea salt.
Right.
That could actually be very beneficial because it has other minerals, because it's not denatured, and because it acts differently in the body.
Okay.
So we always have to take a look again at the quality of what we're consuming.
Right. Now when you talk about the quality, the general salt what we consume at home, we see the name of the company which is manufacturing it and we just get it. So now when you say, you have to look into the quality also, in salt also, how can a common person find good quality?
Good quality, going to nutritional stores,
okay,
and finding Himalayan or sea salt that has certifications of high quality. Maybe you can talk to the company, ask how they test it. But a lot of times when you find a good quality company, you'll be able to stick to it for a long time.
Right.
So I love using Himalayan pink salt. So you see those beautiful rocks that you can grind, or
right,
sometimes they're available in the very small particles, and they are very pink.
Right.
And they're full of other nutrients. So that's an easy way to tell Himalayan salt apart from other salts. And then you can buy that, make sure that the company that's producing it or bringing that in is, mindfully extracting
right,
it from the mountains, or, is mindfully transporting it, is not denaturing it. So always look at quality by going to the good stores, and they'll be able to educate you on it.
You told us about the bleach which is used, and there are sea salt, then there is dead sea salt, and then there is some other salt. So you get confused about it. Now, basically, how much is enough for your body? How much consumption should be there?
It really depends on how much person is using, so how active is the person. See, because salt is really important for moving, for your electrons to communicate. It's really important for retaining water in the body, moving the water in the body. So all of those, or excreting water in the body. So every
right,
time we are exercising, we are perspiring. So we actually are losing a lot of salt. That's why the sweat is very salty. So every time you exercise, you use a lot of salt, because a lot of it is detoxing your body.
Right.
Your lymphatic system is working, and your blood is detoxing all of those chemicals or metabolic byproducts and
right,
waste. So if we don't have enough of salt, which is an electrolyte, you can't properly excrete the waste.
Right.
If you don't have enough salt, you can actually not properly perform an exercise, because there is not enough energy that the body can work with or communicate between cells and the muscle tissue.
Right.
So salt, if a high quality, has a lot of benefits in the body, such as, for example, it's a very, very important nutrient, and a part of the hydrochloric acid is made mostly from salt.
Right.
So if you don't have enough salt, you can't create hydrochloric acid. Therefore, you can't disinfect anything that's going into the body, and you can have a lot of viral, a lot of other infections. So
salt has to be consumed separately, only the vegetables, the fruits, foods, what we eat. Does that contain salt?
Well, there's again a very, very good point, because there's a difference. The packaged food will have a high content of processed sodium.
Right.
So if you're actually cooking at home and using high quality salt, that's very different.
Right.
So I would avoid packaged foods. They have a lot of cheap salt and improperly balanced salt that doesn't have any benefits. And I will consume homemade foods or go to restaurants that use high quality salts and high quality foods in where they're seasoned with good nutrition and good salt.
You talked about seasoning. Now, most of the times we find many people putting extra salt, especially on fruits or other things also. Is it good one should put or not?
Depends on the person.
Okay.
So a lot of people are actually deficient if they are consuming natural diet. If they're consuming processed diet, they will have too much sodium.
Right.
So if, because a processed diet uses a lot of salt in all of the packaging. So if you're consuming natural diets and you feel that this is something your body is craving, you will add natural occurring high quality salt onto your salad, onto your food, and properly season it. So I always talk to people, make sure that absolutely all the salt that you have in the house and that you're cooking with or using in raw organic vegetables and fruits and in your food preparation is always a very high quality.
Right. So now the question that arises is that as you said, we do not know, it depends upon the body how much salt is required. But now you talked about the processed foods also and the normal food what we are eating. You're talking about high quality salt. When we are outside or whatever we are consuming today has a high quantity of salt. Now, how to make sure that what salt we are consuming and how much is enough for our body, and also the concept of the sodium. So how do you look into it?
Great question, and it has many layers to it. So the quality, as I mentioned, is really important. So a lot of times when we're eating out, the quality of that salt is very poor because just the budgeting
Absolutely.
and constraints. Packaged food all has very cheap sodium because again the same issue. So make sure that your home salt that you find at home is a Himalayan salt or sea salt, high quality unprocessed unbleached salt. That's what you cook with. Sometimes I'm a crazy person. Sometimes I carry a little salt with me myself.
Okay.
So I have my little sea salt, Himalayan salt with me, so I don't use the white bleach salt that is available.
So
in
rock
restaurants.
salt is good. This is
rock
what you're
salt
recommending.
is amazing, absolutely.
Okay.
So non-processed salt. So anything that's non-processed. There's actually black lava salt. There's a red lava salt. There's a lot of incredible high quality salts that you can find in good stores that sell high quality food and nutritional supplement stores.
So not to go in for the cheapest one, which is 50 or 60 cents, and try to see that ultimately it's just the salt.
Quality pays off.
Okay.
And so when you're consuming that in your regular diet, as you feel, your body, listen to your body all the time. If your body needs it and craves it, have some more. In the summertime, people would usually crave more salt because in the summertime, the body requires electrolytes. There's a lot of sun exposure. If we're active and spend a lot of time outside, a lot of water will be lost. With water, we're sweating out salt. So the more person is exercising, if it's an athlete, the more person is doing hikes, running, the more of those electrolytes it requires. So some people actually make a drink, an electrolyte drink, by having a filtered high quality water, adding a little bit of Himalayan or sea salt into it, maybe a little bit of honey or pressing fresh squeezing a lemon or orange into it, and using that as an electrolyte drink, because now the body is supported with electrolytes and it can retain enough water, and so that the person won't be dehydrated and end up in the hospital.
So is there any, towards the end, let me know, is there any telltale sign if you're not consuming enough of salt, and that can be visible? How do you come to know that you're consuming less salt? Is it some kind of headache, or you're not feeling well, or
usually
what is
fatigue,
Okay.
Inability to if people don't perspire properly, don't detox their body properly through the lymphatic system. If people have sometimes very low, if people test very low on water, hydration level is really low, intracellular and extracellular hydration is very poor in all the different tests. Usually they'll be lacking electrolytes like salt, magnesium and other things. So that's how we usually tell if the person is dehydrated.
So basically we should not tag that salt is bad. We should consume high quality salt so that we can keep good health.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your
You're
time.
very welcome.
Thank you. So ਅੱਜ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ, ਐਂਟੋਨੀਨਾ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਲਟ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਲੂਣ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੰਜ਼ਿਊਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਹੱਤਤਾ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਲਟ ਕੰਜ਼ਿਊਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਗਲਤ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਪਰ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਹਾਈ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਸਾਲਟ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕੰਜ਼ਿਊਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟਸ ਕੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਤੇ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਉੱਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਡਿਪੈਂਡ ਕਰਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਕਿੰਨਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਲਟ ਲੋੜ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਹਾਈ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਸਾਲਟ ਨੂੰ ਵਰਤੋ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਥੋੜੀ ਮਾਤਰਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਚੰਗਾ ਸਾਲਟ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹਿਮਾਲਯਨ ਸਾਲਟ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ, ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਾਲਾ ਲੂਣ ਵੀ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ, ਜਾਂ ਰੌਕ ਸਾਲਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਪਿੰਕ ਰੰਗ ਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਜਾਂ ਸੀ ਸਾਲਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਚੰਗੀ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਲਟ ਖਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੱਤ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਪੂਰੇ ਕਰ ਸਕੇਗਾ।